Good morning. It's lovely to see you. Just you here in my back garden with me. Yeah, it's cold, but it's beautiful and there's no wind, so it's not much colder than it actually is, not a lot of chill factor. Let me show you the day. Here is the day. So, blue skies, drifting clouds from the north, which means it's always a little bit warmer. There's a moon up there, and there you can see the drifting clouds, clearly drifting in a bird. And yeah, it's just, now it's June, it's officially winter, whatever that means. Here's the garden. And it does mean that we'll have a solstice very soon. So, and everything turns around again. Before I forget, all the flowers have fallen off again because we had rain. But look, the camellia is still camelliaing. So there it is. Do enjoy this. It's a lovely thing that I can see out of my window, flowering away in winter when a lot of other things aren't. So there it is. And what else have we got? See if the Wi-Fi holds up to go over here and show you this flower. There it is. I don't even know what it's called. It's an old thing, I know that, because I got it from an old garden. And there it is, doing its thing. And there are some very early narcissus, which is like, it's May. They're supposed to open at another time of the year entirely. But there you go. Good morning, Sandy. Let me just walk up here. Hopefully the Wi-Fi holds up and show you this rogue flower on a rogue Johnson's Blue. There it is. It's a beautiful thing. Pretty tough. Good morning, Mike. So even in the winter garden, there's still stuff going on. It's all drenched in dew and very wet. Okay, let me go walkies. There's a lemon tree that I pruned. And we'll go up here to enjoy the bright yellow daisies and the yellow corfi flowers. This is the bright spot. I'm glad I didn't prune it at the end of summer now. Morning, Andrew. Because look at this, it's bright and it's lovely to see. If I come up here, here we have lots of yellow. There's nothing much to say except that they're yellow and they're bright and they're beautiful. So there you go. And we have still a few flowers. You can see if I do this, sit on the seat that I put here. See, we've got a few flowers in this ever faithful campanula, but mostly it's just sort of a ground cover. It doesn't really cover the ground, you have to weed it, but it does always put flowers up. And look, we have daffodil foliage, actually the jonquils, but there's stuff coming up all over the place. It's far too soon, but that's just how it is, so I'm going to appreciate it. Alright, let me turn this around and come back down into the land of the world of walking around, because I like to do that. It's really nice to be out here with no wind. So I decided yesterday that today we're going to talk about procrastination. Probably because I know a few people who say they're going to do things and then don't do them. And I realised a long time ago that that's been something I've had to overcome, is my reaction to that, which can be anywhere between impatience and frustration. Is like, oh, don't even say it. You're not going to do it, right? But on top of that is somebody who has an intention and for whatever reason doesn't manage to carry it out. And more compassionate and more patient and more kind with the me that's like that. Because you can guarantee there are bits of me that are not wanting to go places that I want to go. And there's a push-pull. I want to do this and some other part of me does not. And that's really what procrastination is about. Lisa Louise, it's great to see you. So I decided to talk about it. And really, I've just said what procrastination is. Procrastination is when your mind and your body are not in agreement. It's when they're fighting. Or when one part of you and another part of you are in conflict. Because if it was a thing that you really wanted to do and you wanted to do it enough, you would do it. So why don't you? Because you may think, but I really, 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 really want to do that thing and I still haven't done it. What's the deal? So there are two reasons really why people don't do things that they either think they want or that they should do. First, and the most obvious one, perhaps, is they don't actually really want to do it. For whatever reason, they're ignoring the fact that they don't want to do it. They're trying to kid themselves into the fact that they want to do it. They're trying to make themselves believe they want to do it. And it might be because, or whatever it is. So in order to keep other people happy, this is a common thing. They say, oh yes, I'll do it. But they never quite get around to it. And it's a way of keeping everybody happy, but not doing the thing. The catch is they get to feel bad about it and ashamed and whatever else it is that they feel about themselves by not doing it, right? So that's a bit of a downer because that is not a particularly helpful state to be in. So thinking, oh, I should do this thing, but I don't want to do it, and I'm pretending just so that I can keep people happy. And this is all unconscious, right? A lot of the time people don't realise they're doing this. They just don't really want to do it. Or they've convinced themselves that they want to do it. Because, and this was me, slightly different situation, but the same thing. We convince ourselves because we think, well, I want this in my life, and other people who got this in their lives did A, B, and C, so that means I should do A, B, and C. Now, for me, it was, I'll go and do A, B, and C, and it was because I thought that was going to give me what I wanted, and I actually went and did A, B, and C and discovered it didn't. But many people are in some ways a little bit smarter than that, and that on some part of themselves they know that A, B, and C aren't for them. I wasn't even aware of that. I had to find that out the hard way because I was so programmed. They just think, actually, I don't want to do A, B, and C. They're not aware of that, but at a deeper level, they realise they don't actually want to do it, but they don't realise that they don't want to do it. So, there's this opposition in them where they think they should, it's a good idea, everything stacks up, but they just don't actually want to do it. And they're not necessarily aware of that, but it creates a conflict, and so they're stalemated, they just can't make it happen. Or they make it happen, but with a tremendous amount of frustration and difficulty and internal conflict, and everything doesn't line up, people aren't being helpful, everything they need to make it happen just doesn't work, and it's because they're not lined up with it, and it's not happening. So the other reason why people don't do things that they really want to do is that they really do want to do it, but there's something else that they really, really want as well, which creates a conflict between, the thing I want to do, which is new to me, by the way, and unfamiliar, and therefore classified by the autonomic reptilian survival part of my brain as dangerous. Anything that's unknown is classified as dangerous by the brain. Kerry, good morning. So I want to do that, but there's another habitual unconscious part of me that says, hell no, I don't want to do that. I want something else that feels safer. Fundamentally, that's what happens. And the habitual part of us says, I know how to survive this. It may not be very nice, but I know how to survive it. It can be really destructive behaviours. It can be things that keep us limited. It can be things that hurt us. But if that's what you're accustomed to and what feels safe to you, you can cling to it for dear life, literally, and not move into something else that's better. Because unconsciously, there's a part of you that says, no, I'm not leaving this safe place. I'm not going somewhere new. That's dangerous. This I know. And so that's the other reason why people just don't do things that they want to do. Intellectually, they're in agreement with it, and emotionally, viscerally, they're not. But they don't realise it. And what people often do, because there's so many stories about people who just bulled through and pushed through and, done the really hard yards and stressed and struggled and strained, and finally they break through, it's amazing, and we look at that and think, oh man, if I could just do that. And then we try that and it doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. Hell no. And then you beat yourself up because you think, well, what's wrong with me? Did I not try hard enough? Do I lack willpower? What's wrong with me? It must be something that I did wrong. Clearly I don't want it enough. Clearly I'm useless. I'm a failure. Tra la 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 la. All of that stuff. And so, we don't realise that the reason why these things just don't happen is because there's a conflict. We haven't even recognised there's a conflict. And so we're carrying on our merry way, trying to use the 5% of the conscious mind that says, hey, this is a really good thing, I want to do it, to overcome the 95% of the unconscious, subconscious mind that says, hell no. And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And you can feel like consciously you can feel so aligned with something. But then you go to take that step and kaboom, you're not. Or it might not even be kaboom, it might just be something that seizes inside you and says, oh no. It's a great idea and you feel excited about it, and then you go to do it. It's like, oh. Easy for us to beat ourselves up about it because we think it's our fault. And, yes, everything is my creation. I am responsible for everything in my life, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure or a bad person if there's things that I can't do for whatever reason. It just means there's something I don't understand. There's something going on that I haven't found the right button to push or the right lever to pull. And believe me, I'm still in that space in my life of saying, okay, I can't, focus on all the things I can't do. I've got to focus on who I want to be and how that feels, even right in the presence of things that just seem not to be moving yet. So, what I have learned to do, and I know this works because it's true, is when I encounter resistance like this, there's a thing you want to do and you want to do it or you should do it, it's good for you, tra la 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 la, and it's just not happening. Is to sit down and get really real with myself. To sit down, stand up, go for a walk, whatever. Get really real with yourself. And tune in to that resistance. What are you really feeling? You think, oh, this is great, I want to do this thing. You go to do it at that instant when something in you jams. Stop, hit the pause button right there. And you might think, but I can't hit the pause button. I've got to get this done. I've got to make this happen. I've got to, I'm under pressure. I have to make money. I have to survive. I have to get better. I have to whatever it is. But if you don't hit the pause button and at least start to get in touch with what the real resistance is, you're never going to really get past it. Or you're going to get past it, but it's going to just take so much effort because instead of finding the gate in the brick wall, you're going to be trying to push it over with your bare hands. It's a lot smarter to just, hit the pause button. I'm right here at the point where I want to make a different choice and do something different, and my body is rebelling. What's it actually telling me? It's telling you something. If you feel into that resistance, if you get really present with yourself when that is going on, you think, oh man, here it is again. And of course, we don't want to face those feelings. We don't want to face those experiences inside ourselves. We just want them to go away. But they don't go away until we are willing to recognize them enough to be able to overcome them. You can't suppress it. You can't squash it down. You can't ignore it. You have to face the stuff that's inside you. And when you've faced it and overcome it, when you have recognized, oh, I feel afraid or I feel angry or I feel resentful or I'm certain that people aren't going to understand or support me or whatever it is, you have faced that feeling and you have consciously changed that feeling from that feeling to how it is you want to feel instead. That's what I mean by overcoming. I don't mean just saying, oh, I'm not going to feel that, I'm going to bull through it. That's not overcoming it. That's just squashing it or smashing it aside. To actually be able to consciously recognize the emotion and change your visceral experience to something different right in the presence of the challenge that brought that emotion up in the first place. That is what I mean by overcoming it. When you can do that, you have some control. You have the ability to realize, oh, my old whatever it is has been triggered, and this is the self I want to be. Whenever that self comes up, I want to be like this. And man, I managed to change it once before. How did I do it then? And oh wow, what was it? Alexis. Awesome. Oh yeah, We are on autopilot 95% of the time, and it's great because you don't want to have to learn to talk and eat and walk and do your job and know all the stuff that you know every day. But when it's limiting like this, yeah, it's you actually have to pay attention and notice, that moment that you jam. Notice the feeling in your body and notice what you're thinking. Oh my God, I've been doing this so much recently because I'm really up against my old limitations, my old self. I am so up against my nose to the wall right now. So I know what I'm talking about from personal experience. So to get out of autopilot, you've got to first notice that you are on autopilot, and then you've got to find the switch. And finding the switch begins with recognizing how that autopilot state thinks and feels. And then, of course, because of how it thinks and feels, how it behaves. And then you've got to do something and think something and feel something different. And what I didn't understand for so long is that is actually possible. To tell you a story, because it happened yesterday. What was it? So I had a wonderful meditation process in the morning. I had to overcome myself a lot because I wasn't feeling fantastic, but I did. And I went through the morning in a good state, which is great because, my body likes that and my body needs that. And then sometime around a bit before lunchtime, I got some information which triggered me. And I felt my body going back to a familiar state, which is practically trauma-like. It's completely over the top, inappropriate, unnecessary response to that information. But it's powerful, it's there, and it happens. And I thought, well, I had to deal with it, and, I had things to do. I had a live to do in the lunch hour. I had things, and I had to manage myself. I had to come into my heart. I had to breathe, to do all of that. But I really thought, I don't want to stay here. This is not what I want to do. So for me, I made a choice in my lunch break. I sat down with one of Joe Dispenza's short meditations. It's one of the ones that he brought out during when the COVID pandemic was new, and he wanted to have a pandemic of love. So he created two, and this is the second one, and it's called You Inspire Me. And basically, you get into your heart and you allow someone to inspire you. I sat down to do that, and I just wanted to use it to overcome the state that I was in. Because I knew it was dense, I knew it was heavy, I knew it was scared, I knew it was a whole lot of things, and I didn't want to stay there, and it was powerful enough that I just couldn't consciously find the switch, in beta brainwaves as opposed to alpha or theta or delta, deeper state of brainwaves. I just couldn't do it, so I thought, I have to do this, I have to go into the field and change this. It's a 13-minute process, which is short for one of Joe's things, but it just allows you to change your state. And I did it once, and there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of sadness, but I felt things start to shift, and I thought, I have to do this again. So I did. I will go again. I will not get up until I feel like I'm that person I want to be. And it's not even I'm just being pig-headed. It's like, I know I have to change this. So I did it again, and in that process, I have this picture on my phone that I created, and it's all about abundance, and it's got this little figure, and they're all silhouettes, but I coloured them gold, and it's surrounded by things. It's in a galaxy, I got a Hubble picture, and I put things in it that I want to be what I want, what I have. And suddenly, in the middle of my meditation, focusing on being that person in the middle of it who's just free and abundant and whatever else, suddenly I was there. I was in the picture, but I wasn't in the picture like a vertical picture. I was there in 3D. In the picture, the galaxy is kind of flat. It was around me, all around me. And all of the things that I've been creating and focusing on, they were there too, and they were flowing towards me, and it was so easy. But the biggest thing was that the me that was in the center of that was a me I've never experienced before. And, I've been tuning into it ever since. I meditated again last night, which was such a luxury, and again this morning, and I'm tuning into this new me because I want to remember this person. I want to remember how it feels. And it's difficult to describe because it's so outside of my experience. But all I can say is there is this immutable, infinite sense of presence and such calm. And today I connect with this deep inward sense of joy. And it's all unfamiliar, but yeah, I want to be that. And everything else is incidental to that. Abundance or whatever else, or healing or whatever else you want, is incidental to being that person. And I connected with that because I refused to give in to the old self that was saying, hey, I'm a familiar program. You can run this program. You know how to do this. You know how to be scared by this thing that is not threatening at all. And no. You have to make a really powerful choice, and you have to be willing to do the mileage inside yourself to connect with a new you. It is the new me. It's only part of the original me, Andrew, believe it or not. Oh, thank you, Alexis. It's just a journey. And the thing is, the journey itself is amazing. What I'm learning to do, what I'm realizing, how much my mind has been occupied by these things that I am at the moment just so it's like this moment to moment I either get to focus on the thing that's been occupying my mind and keeping me scared, or I get to focus on being my new self. It's that polarized. So, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. That's what it takes. For me, at least. It won't always be this intense. But I really am leaving a very limited and lackful self behind, and I know that this is the process. I'm up for the journey because I don't want to be who I've been anymore. So I'm not procrastinating. But this is the reason why people do procrastinate, is because they have things inside themselves that they simply haven't seen. It's just automatic that they carry on doing and being how they are, and when they want to go and do something new, they encounter resistance from inside themselves and they don't realise it. And so they're stuck. Gridlock, deadlock. That's all. Now, I'm done. I'm over time. I got onto a thing. So I'm just going to encourage you that if you are not aware that I'm on YouTube and you would like to connect with me on YouTube, please do. I think there's a link on the bottom of the post here, but otherwise just go to YouTube and search on my name and you will see me. It's just a nice library of these lives, which makes them easier to search by topic if you want to. Your support. So if you want to do that, that'd be great. Thanks so much for participating today. Big love. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.